Hi, how are you?
I'm okay, how are you?
I'm well. Did you have any trouble finding parking or anything like that?
No.
Okay, perfect. Before we get started into everything, I kind of want to go over a couple of things with you. Number one, I kind of want to discuss the nature and purposes of our services here at Mission Lexington. We are a faith-based nonprofit organization that overall just helps people with food insecurity, homelessness, eviction, things of that manner. Second, I want to go over some potential risks. That would kind of look like in terms if you needed something in a faster manner than we could provide you. For example, canned foods. Sometimes we run out of certain things because we do help a lot of people here at Mission Lexington. We will overall be able to give you that service. It just might not be as swiftly as you would like. So those are really the only potential risks that I kind of wanted to warn you about just in advance. Also, just kind of talking about reasonable alternatives. There are a lot of other agencies here in Lexington that also help with the same kind of things that we do here at Mission Lexington. So I want you to know that you're not signing a contract by coming in here. You can get services from anybody in the area. Mission Lexington is just trying to aid you in any way we can, but that doesn't mean you can't go somewhere else. Any anticipated costs? There are no anticipated costs here at Mission Lexington. We're a nonprofit faith-based organization. So we, help you and provide services. We do not require any payment or anything like that. And then I think it's really important to just kind of tell you about consent and your right to withdraw that consent. Anything that we talk about in here is not going to be spoken of outside of this room. And the only reason it would be in very specific situations that would, relate to danger or safety of you or me. But if at any time you feel uncomfortable, you don't want to speak with me at any point, that is completely and totally fine. You have the right to withdraw that consent, and no one is forcing you to kind of say anything that you don't want to say. So when it comes to the confidentiality, kind of like I was talking about before, I just want to emphasize the things that are said in this room are, again, not going to be talked about outside of this room. There are only a few instances where I would need to report anything that was said by you or I. And first of all would be any suspected abuse or like neglect of a child or, of you. If I saw that or I had any inkling that that was happening, I would have to report that and act swiftly. That's just under, the law. I'm required to do that as a social worker. Another one is, if there's any immediate danger that I perceive that is happening in your life or is affecting somebody else around you, then again, I would have to act in a swiftly manner and kind of report that to a higher up. And then lastly, this is very rare instances, but if for some reason a court order had me wanted me to tell them about any confidential client information or anything like that, again, I would have to, under the law, talk about whatever the court order mandated me to talk about. But those are the only instances where confidentiality would be broken. And again, they are very rare instances. So overall, things that are said in this room will not leave. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, perfect. I know that was a lot to go over at once. So I just want to make sure that you understand everything. But now that we've gone over that, I kind of want to talk about, why you're here today. Do you want to kind of share with me some things about why you reached out to Mission Lexington?
So I got evicted a couple weeks ago, and I'm currently living in my car.
Okay.
And I don't really have a lot of money to go buy food.
Mm-hmm.
Not eating a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I can definitely understand that is extremely challenging. What does that look like on a day-to-day basis for you?
I'm I'm like eating maybe once a day, like every week.
Okay.
So like 7 meals total, 7 days.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working too, so I work at Publix part-time.
Okay.
And so hopefully I'll be full-time soon. I'm looking for full-time positions right now, and you would think that Publix would have like places to move up, but like they don't.
Okay.
So anytime I'm not working, I'm trying to find another job actively. So yeah.
Okay. So what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that not only are you dealing with stress about food and what your next meal is going to be, but you're also dealing with some stress about finding a full-time job, moving up in the Publix hierarchy, and that sounds very frustrating and overwhelming.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Kind of talk to me a little bit more about Publix. Like, have you been working there for a while before you got evicted? Is this a new job? What's that look like for you?
Well, like I said, it's kind of like as much as I can, it's just part-time. What was the question again?
Just kind of talking about have you been how long have you been working at Publix?
So I've been working at Publix for like the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a job before Publix?
Yeah, I was a teacher.
Oh, okay.
I got red slip though, so I can't really go back to teaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds challenging. What was getting red slips? How did that what were the events that led to the eviction after the red slip and then to Publix and now to your current situation?
Well, the way that I handled things while I was teaching, I definitely could have done better, and there was some stuff going on within the school that I really didn't agree with, and so I made my opinions known and was trying to advocate for change, and the way that I went about it was not appropriate, and looking back, I'm like pretty disappointed in how I handled myself, but that's what happened. I got red slipped, and then I'm like, fuck, I don't have a job anymore, so I have to go find somewhere else, and then in the process, I got evicted from my apartment.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm living out of my car right now.
Okay. How has that affected your emotional well-being and your social life?
Well, I'm social with the people who I work with.
Okay.
Thankfully, the people I work with are pretty nice. So, that's okay. But in terms of my like well-being and mental health, yeah, great.
Okay.
Just cause like, you know, I'm stressed about finding a job and feeling like I'm really hard on myself. I feel like I just could have handled the situation a lot better at school.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be in this mess. So, just kind of sucks. Yeah.
I can understand that. It sounds like you're feeling not only overwhelmed, but kind of like some regret in terms of how things were handled at the school and everything like that.
Yeah, definitely regret.
That's very challenging, especially on top of everything that you're dealing with at the moment.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. So what exactly, I guess I want to ask, what kind of services are you seeking for us to help you with here at Mission Lexington?
So food.
Okay.
When I moved out of my apartment, I mean, I didn't have a lot of food to begin with. But now that I'm living out of my car, I don't really have any place to keep the food.
Right.
And let alone I don't have any money to go buy food. So if I'm getting anything, it's like fast food, I can just get it, throw it away. Like,
Okay.
I don't need Tupperware and shit.
Mhm.
So, yeah, mostly, it would help me a lot if I came here and I got food. So that's my main thing. But, you know, clothes too. I had to look professional going to all these job interviews.
Sure.
And, I literally got rid of 3/4 of my closet. So I didn't have a lot of clothes to begin with either. So I maybe have like 1 or 2 shirts, and they're not what are deemed professional essentially was something that I needed to like, you know, use overall and just
Sure.
yeah, but I saw that y'all were also able to help with clothing, so I'm interested in that as well.
Of course, yes, those are both things that we can definitely help you here with. We also do help in terms of, you know, rent, like financial assistance in terms of like finding somewhere to live. Is that something that you'd be interested in as we move forward in, you know, the job interview process and, you know, finding more of a stable income?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm just like, I don't really like, I don't know. I'm more focused on like getting the other stuff first, and then
Sure.
once I get a better job and I'm able to have a more of an income, like then maybe move on to like the rent and stuff
Okay,
and assistance with that.
sure. That definitely sounds like we can definitely help you. Oh shoot, that was like 11 minutes.